Hello and welcome to the Reverse Sweep podcast. We are back and cricket World Cup fever is on. It's not that happy because India is still struggling to get to the semis, but it has been a great tournament. I have Pranav with me after a long time, Piyush, and of course Siddharth from Canada. So we'll take opening thoughts to start off this episode and let's go to Pranav first. Pranav, what have been your thoughts about the World Cup so far?
Yeah, as you rightly said, India is not in a good position. So obviously the first two games totally killed all the mood. But as I had said on the previous short podcast, that it's not entirely surprising because we had a very long England tour and a second phase IPL also smudged in between. So understandable, perhaps players are a bit fatigued, but also, like I said, the approach of the team was very timid and did not look like, they didn't look like a team who, were billed as one of the favorites. And yeah, that is true that we got the worst batting and bowling conditions in the first two games, but you cannot really prepare for the toss. You have to, manage with what you have. And it just did not, it just seemed like the team, I don't know what they're going through the motions. And considering this is Kohli's last T20 I series, you would have thought at least the players would try and at least
No,
give
no,
their
no. I
best, but
don't
maybe
think
they're
they.
not. Maybe they're showing rather that we're glad he's
Yeah,
gone.
I
I don't
don't.
know. I mean, the first two games approach against the two important teams was really, really, really sad. I mean, okay, Pakistan thoroughly outplayed us, but against New Zealand the approach was, I mean, we made New Zealand's bowling look absolutely unplayable, which it certainly wasn't. And then suddenly last two games, the exact opposite of what was done in the first two games, like trying now they kind of maybe think that it's unlikely we'll qualify. So they're just, going hell for leather or
No,
I
I
don't
so
know.
the whole
It's
whole whole point was I think the major factor was the first game was a pressure game and we lost the toss and knowing the Dubai record. So
The
first game was
game
okay,
should be a
but
pressure game in a World Cup.
second game what happened was I think in first game Pakistan bowlers bowled really well, but in the second game what really happened is you see KL Rahul's wicket, Rohit Sharma's wicket, Ishan Kishan wicket, they were just a gift. Although I think it
only two. All the wickets you could say were a
yeah,
gift
and
actually.
and also the idea behind was to bat second on that Dubai track is way easier than to bat first. And but not saying that toss had a major factor in it, but the way we batted in the second match against New Zealand was very pathetic, and how the batsmen just gave their wicket away was something that
IPL
generally
final was also in Dubai, right?
Yeah,
Team batting first one very comfortably.
no, but that changed
Didn't seem
after.
to be a problem to them.
yeah. I think it's a more about planning. I mean, today,
More about like
unbelievable that a
just
win against
being an
Scotland
excuse
and
for
Kohli.
being thoroughly outplayed.
And we
I
could
By
think
we
they're
see
bowling.
not.
that
There was no planning regarding what was the right score to target in both the matches because Pakistan game 150, we thought okay, there's a slight chance, but had we attacked their spinners more, perhaps we would have gotten the extra 20 runs that would have put pressure on Pakistan as well. And what was most disappointing is the bowling actually, like really listless bowling from the first game. We had a shout and we like just looked to go and try and knock Pakistan's batting over, thinking they'll get scared if we bowl fast, and it didn't seem like they were using the conditions
so
best. And
yeah, so
what is
when
one
we're
point
talking,
before
yeah, yeah.
one last point, Piyush will like this. Throughout this World Cup, you've seen Shamsi, Zampa, all of them
I
bowl
was
so
coming
well,
to that.
and Liam Livingston as well,
Shamsi,
and of course
Zampa,
No,
Hasaranga,
so
Before
what?
the
Adil
Adil
Scotland
Rashid.
and
Rashid.
Afghanistan match, Liam Livingston had picked up twice as many
So
Yes.
that
wickets
is
as
what
And
I was
yeah, and
coming to.
Rahul
Like,
Chahar is not even getting a sniff. And today we are playing two off spinners. I mean, Varun Chakravarti 3 matches, 0 wickets. I don't know what mystery spinner is. Bhai history spinner ho gaya hai wo.
so that is
The
what my
mystery
point
itself
was.
is a mystery.
Like,
Yeah.
But
like
the point that's
Mystery
the
kya hai
point.
mystery
You
bhai?
you that actually sums up Virat Kohli in one line. You drop your best spinner of the last 4 to 3 years for another person and give full gyan of quick spinner, quick turn, and all that,
Quick
and
spinner
then
को
you
तो
don't play
देखा ही
him
नहीं कहाँ है
at
quick
all.
spinner.
And then you don't play him at all. You bench him throughout. You play Ashwin over him. You play two off spinners over him. When in the entire tournament, leg spinners are, I mean, how many? Zampa, Hasaranga, Shamsi, Adil Rashid,
Liam
who
Livingston.
else?
Rashid
Liam
Khan,
Livingston.
Cody.
Every leg spinners are ruling everywhere.
Yeah,
And
so when we are coming, I think the team management made a big mistake
All of
in
these leg spinners get smashed in the IPL.
no
Chahal actually does well in the IPL, other than Rashid Khan, or I think every single one of these names has gotten.
but I think they made a really bad mistake, as I predicted before the World Cup as well. Getting Varun Chakravarti, who is basically a non-cricketer, he should be playing somewhere in
Hive,
club
though,
cricket.
what about Varun Chakravarti's backup, who was the leg spinner in the squad?
why isn't he
Haven't even
picked?
seen him.
So that is
He
what
should be the one more in
it's
question.
You
No,
picked him over your best spinner, and
Like
now
leg spinner, एक ले रहा है.
no, but the thing is,
Yeah.
if you have Rahul Char, so that is cannot be changed. But if you have picked him
Why can't
over,
that be changed?
no, but that
Chahar for Chahal would
we
be
have a
like
squad. No, that we would have a like to like replacement. But the thing is, they wanted to back Rahul Char, but if they backed Rahul Char,
They did
why
not
they
back
haven't
Rahul
played?
Char, though. That's just-
That is what I was coming to.
Well,
Like,
instead they
Yeah.
brought back old man Ashwin, and both Ashwin and Jadeja have stat padded against the minnows, and now
Yeah.
they are going to play the entire World Cup in case we make the semis, and that will be a huge mistake because better teams like Pakistan, England, or even if whoever we play will totally
we won't.
will take advantage of them.
So that is
If we
what
make
is
it.
bringing. And also a big news that came in was Rahul Dravid is now elected as the coach of
coach, yeah.
the head coach. But do you guys
That
think
happened
like
in the middle of a match.
we
Yeah.
did we lose because of team selection, or did we lose because of lack of intent shown by
I
the
think
players
it's
in the
just
first
the
two matches?
I think,
like
Bit of both.
bit of both, but more of like the way we played our cricket. I think like obviously team selection could have been better, but even still the 11 players that were put on the field, they were capable enough of taking one wicket against Pakistan. They were capable of scoring 120 against New Zealand. It wasn't that like it could have been slightly better, but it wasn't the difference between like the way we performed. That was purely down to the way we played our cricket, and you can see how England play their cricket, how
Yeah.
even Pakistan has played.
वो मेरा
How
phone
we
है।
have played.
Virat Kohli has said that
They
you
would-
can see you could see Piyush or videos of you could see if you could see it in the practice games, and there were just a couple of aberrations in our batting. Otherwise, this is how we bat all the time, referring to how they batted against Scotland today. So what he's saying
That
is
is
that
just-
practice match गिन लो और ये वाले नमीबिया और स्कॉटलैंड से
ये
मैच
भी
गिन लो,
practice match ही
That
है.
is just
और
deflection. That is
अफगानिस्तान से मैच
Like there
बैटिंग
is
देख लो.
one, it's one
तो हम
thing
ऐसे ही
getting
खेलते.
out, like we're getting 110 all out, trying to score 200. That's a whole different thing. If you try playing that way and you fail, that's a different thing. India were
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
defending, then
Yeah,
trying
I
to
think-
attack to cover up.
This
and
is
then
what
getting
I-
out.
this is what I
Pakistan
was
is still
actually,
excusable because Pakistan felt like it was a great spell from Shaheen and
Yeah, like that
towards
was
the end Rauf.
somewhat.
But we
still
were
But,
not
New
this
Zealand-
poor in the Pakistan
attitude was
game. I don't think I just think against Pakistan we did not attack Shadab and Iman a lot.
Yeah,
I think that was the
Kohli
only
slowed down
mistake.
a lot in the middle
Yeah.
overs, especially.
So 150 was not bad, but 110 was. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I don't want to, take a dig at MS Dhoni, but he was brought in to help the team, and they started batting like how he bats nowadays, eating balls. I mean, what
it's
is the
not,
point? I mean,
we have been playing this way long before MS Dhoni.
I
so
mean,
I don't
four and
think
over,
it's-
4.5 and over in, I don't know, for 9, 10, 12 overs. I mean,
our
what is
approach
going
has
on?
been timid in T20s for a long while. It's not ki abhi
It's now also the reason is ki since our backs are to the wall, there is no other option.
Exactly.
yeah,
there's-
like now,
hit everything.
yeah, it's basically we have to play for net run.
And you are playing
Jadeja was
against
saying
associates.
after
I
the
mean,
match that
honestly,
this
I
is how
still
we
don't
should play
consider
every game.
Afghanistan
Clear
as
that
a
even in the
proper
team,
full.
they think this is how they
India,
should play.
Afghanistan,
But
India
for
is like
some reason in the
Australia,
first two
New Zealand.
matches
They
they
always,
won.
they give us that one victory just, to make us feel good. But really, the point I feel is that if you remember, when we beat England 3-2 at home, the pitches, except I think the second T20, they were all really flat pitches. So for those pitches, these people have an idea that, you have to just go and slog. But perhaps the two pitches we played on, maybe early on it needed a little more sensible approach just to get an idea of the pitch. That's all. But like
Sensible
Siddharth
is
said,
hitting the strike, not playing
Yeah,
dot,
they
dot,
didn't even
dot,
do
dot,
that.
dot,
Yeah.
dot.
Kishan got out attacking and the rest, they played a couple of dots and then they got out because they were
Few
under
dots.
pressure
I
to
think
score.
Kohli was like 4 of 9 when Rohit had to play that shot. He was at least 100 strike rate, but Kohli put that pressure on Rohit to play that big shot. pulled out.
I mean,
Then Kohli
Ish
himself,
Sodhi-
few balls later, was 9 of 17.
Ish
Holds out.
Sodhi is
Sodhi-
another leg spinner who is doing well.
3 for 22. He has the highest.
And that
apparently
guy is
wickets for a
already in
leg
his
spinner against
IPL
India.
coaching
Right.
days. So
Zampa,
that stat
Zampa,
will beat him in the
Which
IPL.
Santner put a tight screw on our batting. I mean, how bad was that? I mean, look,
I think
no
our middle order
insult to him,
batting
but
against spin has been very embarrassing
awful.
other than
Awful,
the
awful.
game.
today, New Zealand,
Lot of,
Ishodi gave around 8 runs per over, I believe. 7
And last game
against
he went
Namibia.
for 42.
But we can
Against Scotland also he
can
got
Even
smashed.
Shaheen Afridi went for none for 36 against Namibia.
So
we can let Isodi be, because I think after he got hit on the head, he sort of lost his line, because there were a couple
Yeah,
of wides
Sodi has
that
been
came in.
good against like the other teams. So far.
Yeah,
Couple of wides
but-
that came in, and then he
but I
lost
think-
his line a little bit.
I think that sums up Virat Kohli's career as a captain. I think
Yeah, I
people
think
will
this
say-
World Cup has summarized how
people
he
will
is. Yeah.
say he deserves to win the World Cup, but
No
he
chance.
has
No,
not-
no, he
You
doesn't.
don't deserve it. You have to earn it. There's a
And
saying in
Jadeja
Sanskrit. They
was
say,
saying if we play this
there's
way,
a
we can
saying,
beat anyone.
Vinash Kale
I
Viprita
thought that
Buddhi. Virat has probably reached that stage.
Yeah, I
but
think,
now the important
Abhi-
question which I want to ask is, do you guys think Afghanistan have a chance against New Zealand? I'll start with Malay.
I mean, they have a chance, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
think I feel Afghanistan definitely have a chance against New Zealand. Whatever I've seen every match of New Zealand. New Zealand have always been under pressure. They've always been out of the game. Even today, they were 4 wickets
Except
down.
one game that was against India.
Yeah.
Exactly. Except
We
the
are
India game.
they are our bogey team in ICC events. That's been proven.
Yeah, except India against Pakistan. Obviously, they lost against Namibia today. They were 4 down for 50, 60 odd. And then in power
Against
play,
Scotland
Namibia
as well.
got
Scotland were in a good position but could not
against-
capitalize.
probably we lost by 15 runs, but
yes.
still, I think-
So I for one think Afghanistan do have a chance.
I agree.
But
They
New
have
Zealand
a
are so scrappy. They are. I mean, their bowling is really good. I mean, I think that's where Afghanistan will struggle. I don't think Afghanistan's batting will be able to make more than 120, 130 against.
yeah,
That
that's the
bowling
main
line.
problem.
fitness will be very crucial.
Yeah, if Mujib is fit and if they play 3 spinners, Abu Dhabi, New Zealand have not played a single game there. Afghanistan played against us. And the square boundaries are big, but the straight boundaries are short at Abu Dhabi. That's usually the
But New Zealand's
dimension. So,
batsmen might enjoy Abu Dhabi more, I feel. Anyway, I think
Perhaps.
we'll come to wrapping up all the teams now. I mean, not wrapping up, as in rounding up all the teams now. We've spoken a lot about India, but who has been your standout team of the World Cup so far? I mean, it's
So-
let's keep India aside for a minute and
Group A.
and think about what has been the most entertaining part of the World Cup so far. for you.
I think Joss
It's not huge.
Butler's innings against Sri Lanka
Yeah,
in a tough wicket where everyone was struggling. They were 60 odd in 10 overs or 11 overs,
they
something
were
like
44
that.
for 3 in 9 overs.
9
That's
overs,
what
yeah.
I saw the score when I was out. I didn't watch the match.
and it was a fairly difficult wicket to play on, and how Josh Butler just accelerated in the last 6, 7, 8 overs, and how England managed to get to 160 from
Yeah.
44 to 3. That
This guy skipped IPL for
yeah,
preparing
but
for the
that
World
is
Cup,
another
by the way.
topic, because
I
Rajasthan,
don't
that
think
is
it would have
another
been
debate. But
able to,
I think if Josh Butler would have been in a franchise who was competing for the top 4 spot, I don't think so.
yeah, he probably would have come in.
He would have come
Exactly.
because
They had a
people-
lot of foreigners pull out too. like,
yeah. So
for
I think
non,
that's another reason,
voluntary reasons.
but I don't think so but I think that was one of the most interesting innings and one of the best innings I've seen in like couple of years right now. So
Yeah.
and he's
The
showing why
way
he's,
he readapted to the game situation 2 or 3 times within the inning.
He's a
and
brilliant
Yeah.
limited overs cricketer. There's no question about that. Be it
Yeah.
ODIs, be it T20, he's just really good.
thanks to
against
Mumbai
Spain,
Indians.
He and Bairstow both.
अच्छा भाई कुछ भी Mumbai thanks to
Bairstow
Mumbai
is not
Indians
that
why
good
did they
against
not
Spain.
retain him then RTM क्यों नहीं किया?
Butler is better than Bairstow.
That is
Butler is
anything.
miles
That is
better.
it.
Butler, I
So-
rate Butler as probably
one
top
more-
3 white ball cricketers, batsmen. in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah. Agreed.
But
me,
the
the
best
most-
part,
Piyush,
best part of the
complete.
World Cup was T20 merchants getting knocked out in the group stage. So that if you have not seen, I predicted that West Indies are going to be out of group stage where Malay was bragging about they have the best combination, best all-rounder.
I didn't say that. I always
That
said they
West
lack a
Indies will.
spinner. I always said they lack a spinner. I said England and yeah, West Indies.
West
I said as the
Indies.
second team.
But yeah, I
Only said
predicted.
West Indies will win the World Cup. Man,
Ah.
will be
I didn't
final.
say. I said
So,
England or
my
West Indies.
my three teams are almost there. England, Australia. Australia are performing well. Apart from one game, they performed.
But
No
no one
bashes.
on the podcast
No
said
bashes.
Pakistan. I did.
I
was
also
the
did.
only
I
one.
No, I
I
had
was
them
the
in
only
the
one who
semis.
said that
I told I
Pakistan
Semis.
would.
won't admit it, but that was like everyone knew
I
that
had them
told
in the
on
Bangladesh.
the preview episode that Pakistan are a really good
I
side.
had Pakistan
Anyway,
as one of the favorite. Yeah, for me the best moment. There has not been that many exciting matches, but yeah, seeing this fraudulent Australian team getting humiliated by England is undoubtedly the moment of the World Cup. I mean, they have been so lucky with the toss and bashing minnows, and we are seeing them being talked about as
What
contenders.
minnows? They beat West Indies.
South
They beat.
Africa, they struggled to beat South
West
Africa
Indies
in
they
one
still have to
inning
play.
chase.
They haven't played
Oh,
West Indies.
so they defeated
South Africa
Bangladesh.
they
They
should have
defeated Sri
lost. South
Lanka.
Africa choked.
And England smashed them. And Sri Lanka game again, Sri Lanka should have made 180. They made a mess of their batting. I really hope West Indies take Australia home with them. It would be a real tragedy if this Australian team makes the semis. South Africa have played much better than them, and they deserve a spot really on just on
I
this
don't
I
basis.
agree
agree.
because
I think for me, the best two parts of this World Cup have been the re-emergence of South Africa and Sri Lanka. I
Yes,
think both countries
Sri Lanka
were
have been
losing them.
really exciting, really nice
I
to
mean,
watch
South
because
Africa, I have been so surprised by how, I mean, they suddenly have bowling, though, suddenly they've got Nokia, Rabada, Shamsi, not Keshav Maharaj, but yeah, they've suddenly got a few options
Shamsi
and their
number
batting
one.
has been really good. Yeah,
Shamsi is
but
number one.
but the best part is how Sri Lanka have come back and they're such a young team. I mean, what Nisanka 24, Hasaranga 22 or something, and
Yeah, all very good players.
Charit
And
Asalanka. I think my best innings or best moment, apart from the Butler innings, of course, was that Charit Asalanka innings against Bangladesh when it looked like a formality, and even
right.
Bangladesh players were playing like it was a formality, and suddenly two random guys, Asalanka and Rajapaksa, come in, and the way they hit that day
Yes.
was just amazing.
What really has been impressive about Sri Lanka is, as we know, Sri Lankan cricketers had discipline issues, players breaking COVID protocols and going out partying, and some of the senior players relative to the squad have been involved. So that really would not have created a good atmosphere in the whole Sri Lankan cricket circle. And to see these youngsters come out and play fearlessly and in a very, very tough group, they could have easily lost all the games, but they've won two games. And against England also, they gave them a good run until they got to 160. And even while chasing, they had a chance. And Hasaranga, someone who has been the lone warrior for a while, has got good support. So at least in T20s,
And this guy wasn't played by
yeah,
RCB in crucial
Virat
matches.
Kohli and RCB. Let's just leave
He
it
was
at
playing
that. We
some
can
but
just
I feel
Gardner,
one of the
some
most
Gartner. I don't know who was
interesting
he
player,
playing.
the Gartner. That's Virat Kohli. But I think Asalanka has been really impressive. I liked how he approaches the game. I think if they sort out their opening, Kusal Pereira has not been in the form he was there.
Yeah, but opening is also okay. Nisanka has been
Kusal-
great, and Pereira
yeah.
will come good eventually.
Pereira
because
Pereira
he's a great player.
can get you a 20 in 10 balls if needed. So let's, he can only play one way. We can't expect him to bat another way. But Pathum Nisanka has been rated highly before, and after seeing him bat, he's got a future in all three formats, to be honest. So
But
let's
it's
see
good
how
for
Sri Lanka manage them.
It's good for cricket.
And
Yes.
two pacers pulling 150, Chamira and Kumara. That's rare. I don't think any team has that luxury at the moment, except maybe Australia have that. But Lahiru Kumara clocks in 145 plus, and Dushmanta Chamira clocks in 150 easily.
Kumara and Chamira does it with quite a bit of ease. His action is so easy; it does not seem like he would have injury problems. Kumara needs to, I think, be more disciplined. I mean, apart from the Bangladesh incident, he has had some discipline issues on the field. So I can, in passion, it happens, But I guess it should not be a case where physical confrontation can take place between players. That's not nice because, like the late Martin Crowe once said, a batsman has a bat in his hand in the heat of the moment. You don't want him to swing his bat and hurt someone. That would be absolutely horrible to watch. So I just hope he improves on that aspect.
Yeah, and I think
only player I've seen doing
it's good for cricket if Sri Lanka are coming
at
back.
Stark.
Yeah.
That was the most epic moment. Pollard throwing his bat at Stark.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and
Piyush was saying something.
I think that it's good for cricket in general if Sri Lanka are getting
Yeah,
back to their form,
sure.
because it's been like too many less teams are performing good, because Sri Lanka past couple of 2 3 years they were just another normal side who can anyone
Yeah, the
can beat.
pushover. No?
Yeah, but now I think one of the other team that impressed me was Namibia. Like I have not seen them before,
Oh,
but I think
sorry to disturb you. There's that again another not exactly mystery, but Thikshana, another spinner Sri Lanka have found
Yeah,
who
20 years old, Tikshana. Yeah.
yep.
And even they're finishing. I mean, they've got all rounders. Darshan Shanaka can bowl and bat.
he batted
Chamira
so well
Karunaratne
yesterday,
did so
and
well
they have
against
another
India.
left armer, Bhanura. I'm sorry, I
Binura
forgot his name.
Fernando. Binura
Yes,
Fernando. That's a very tall,
some
lanky guy. Can
yeah.
give you some overs. It's pretty. It's good. And yeah, that's what group. The second group. I think our group,
So
because India did so poorly, it became very binary. But the other group has been really exciting. And
yeah, and
remember Sri Lanka.
yeah.
Huh,
So that is what. So Sri Lanka, and I think if you talk about the newcomers like Scotland are not newcomers, but whatever. I think apart from if you see who qualified from the um, playoffs, Namibia have impressed me a lot. Like they have given a
hmm,
good fight to all the teams. Like they have not been outplayed like Scotland have been outplayed in almost all their matches. If you see Namibia matches and how they have played, like I think they lost by 15 18 runs to uh, New
Pakistan.
Zealand, and also they gave a good fight against Pakistan as well, and even against Afghanistan. They were not. So if those emerging nations are doing well, so hopefully in future in like 4 5 years we can have a proper better format of T20 World Cup, not have
Yeah,
a qualifier, then
correct.
have direct qualification, and then everyone play everyone whatever. But I don't like this 6 to 6 group split to qualify for semi-final. It's not a good way to judge, because groups are based on luck and anyone can get a easier group and just go to semifinals. I think everyone should get
Yeah.
a fair chance on reaching, so maybe they can tweak the tournament format a little bit, but it's good side for upcoming days for the cricket of if these nations continue to do well as a cricketing
Yeah.
nation.
I personally enjoyed the 2008 Under 19 World Cup format where you had 16 teams and four groups, and you had a quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. And I think in T20 cricket, you can use that kind of a format. Maybe in the 50-over World Cup, that's still a long way away, but at least in T20s, that seems a better format. I think if it's a knockout event, I would prefer to have more knockout matches to just test, some of the better sides, how they can play in knockout. So I would like to see that kind of a format. But I agree this format is weird because the first phase, I think we were just wondering which teams will just come into the group rather than follow it. And it was in a different country also, Oman. So I would like
Hmm.
4x4 kind of format, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's time to make T20 the main World Cup because in the
I agree.
2019 World Cup there were so many squash matches because of the 50 over format. But here,
Right.
I mean, almost I have been very impressed by almost every match between two recognized teams has been a good match. I mean, even yesterday, West Indies Sri Lanka was happening till at point of time when Hetmeyer and Puran were there. There was a good chance. But apart from that, let's move on to the next. And Piyush will love this topic. West Indies have been the pioneers of T20 cricket since 2008, and they have been really poor. I think a lot of players like Harsha Bugde said, they're yesterday's players: Gale, Pollard,
Bravo.
Bravo, even to some extent
Lendl Simmons as
Russell.
well.
Simmons, though I mean I don't know what happened there, but anyway, let's discuss a bit about them.
I think I
What do you
think
think went wrong for West Indies?
I think the pitches didn't really suit them here.
Hmm.
I still believe that they don't have correct set of players to play on these pitches. That is they
But they
on the
won
other
World
day
Cups in Sri Lanka
they have
and I
And
think
but
India.
yeah, they have won, but
And
that
that
time
World
these
Cup
players
final was a horrible pitch. I mean,
these
Marlon Samuels
no
played a blinder just to
but
get 137.
but you are comparing 2016 2014, the players were in their
hmm,
prime, like
Right.
likes
that
of
is
Chris
true.
Gales, like of Pollard. Those times those players could play on any wicket, any surface, and they would just hit with the power. But it's not the same anymore. Cricket has evolved. Like people know their weaknesses. That time there was a time when people used to just dominate like people used to get scared when West Indies people were betting. You see likes of Gale or Pollard or Russell when they were batting in that 2016 World Cup. You take Simmons as well, and Simmons that played in the semi-finals as well against India. So that West Indies squad at that time, they were good, great enough. But 5 years down the lane, if you compare that West Indies side and you say that they did well in those conditions, that now they are not doing well in this condition, is not a good comparison to have, because those people like Gale is what, 38, Pollard is 30,
43
34,
almost.
43, sorry. So those
Almost.
players have been playing since a long, and I think it's time they should retire and they should have a new
I think
outlook of West Indies cricket.
who should retire. Bravo is also retiring. Pollard is doing pretty well overall over the last
Yeah,
year.
I think
Pollard is,
overall the West Indies team is a little bit over the hill. Some of the players, Chris Gale should definitely have retired a couple of
Bravo is
years
retiring,
before.
although he still did very well
Yeah,
for Chennai in the IPL.
I think
Russell, I
except
don't remember
Pollard,
when is the last time Russell got a double-digit score. I think
right?
his score is some 0-4-5-1-0 ऐसे करके इस tournament में.
so
So
they are they full
But
West Indies,
Russell has been bowling well at least. His bowling is.
full West Indies team.
Why was Roston Chase picked up? I mean, what was his role? He was not even doing that well strike rate wise before to get
I
in
think
the
he
squad.
was
I don't know
very
why.
good in the CPL, but
he
he's
was
just
really good in
making
the
his
CPL. He was player of the tournament. in the
international
CPL.
debut, so maybe it's like kept too soon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the odd thing. Suddenly,
And
someone who's never done much, who's not played. I mean, it's a little bit of a. I mean, and it's not like he was an
He
unknown
has been good in
commodity.
the CPL for 2 years, so it like made sense as an anchor who can bowl a little bit of off spin, but yeah, like
entire
hasn't
West
worked.
Indies squad inducted themselves in the Morgan Academy of Naam Bade Darshan Chote also.
We
So
can say the same thing
after,
about India also, but
no,
Brother, but
India,
they have 2 World Cups in their cabinet, and then
like
we don't have
India भी
anything.
वही
We have
minnows को
2007,
फेल
but
15
के
years.
no, but India were never that favorite. Like West Indies are T20
India were
merchants.
the favorites.
India
Maybe
were the
not
Most
T20.
people
between
thought
us,
India
but
were one of the
outside,
favorites. So let's
No,
not
for
deny
me,
that.
India, for me, they were
India
not.
were definitely the bookies' favorites before the World
Bookies
Cup,
maybe,
or
but
maybe
for me, it
maybe
was
not for
always third
us
or
four
fourth choice.
people, but
No,
outside
but
were
you can't deny that now after India has done so
India,
badly.
India can
India
never.
India
would
was supposed to be
definitely
one
be
of the
number 12.
favorites.
India can never
Uh,
be favorites under Virat Kohli captaincy. So
Like
unless
that's for
India
us.
was.
Like
Things
That's for
were
us,
maybe
but the
so
bookies will
we have
always put
different
India as favorites.
biases and
things were looking so up for us. IPL खेला है, everyone has practice.
So did IPL
Practice
खेला
games,
है
we
the
won every
तभी पे
practice game. We dominated every practice game. We beat England in a practice game, and all those things happened. So you can't say
पाकिस्तान
India
को
was
तो हर
not
बार हरा ही
favorites.
देते हैं.
बस
Yeah.
but
न्यूजीलैंड को
what,
Anyways,
हराना है.
but
I think
whatever.
tomorrow will be the last
न्यूजीलैंड से हार
game
भी
for
जाए
some
तो
of
सेकंड आ
these
जाएंगे.
for some of these West Indies players who are seniors. I think tomorrow will be their farewell game, and I really hope for everyone's
Bravo
sake
has confirmed it is his farewell game.
I hope Chris Gale tomorrow gives us one farewell innings and sends Australia packing. That's all I hope. We desperately need that.
I think Australia would still most likely qualify because England are playing South Africa, but yeah.
Let's hope England let's hope
Yeah,
England be
and
nice to their feeder country and let them win for a change.
Australia's run rate is above South Africa now. So after their big
Thanks
win
to
against
Australia
Bangladesh.
my tournament favorites anyways to win. My prediction.
They will not win. They will not win. That I can bet on that. They will not win.
I mean, I think we can safely say unless someone gets on a real big role now, it seems like one of England and Pakistan are going to win this. And I mean, England have been the dominant team in this
And
World Cup.
Finch and Warner are horribly out of form. Warner is being found out by virtually anyone except Bangladesh. So I would not be worried about Australian
No, even
batting.
Bangladesh got him out for 18.
Yeah, except Glenn Maxwell, their batting has been very, very. That's why they don't bat first, because the
Even
only
Glenn
game they
Maxwell
bat.
hasn't done much in the. I think they are very bowling dependent, but they are the kind of side.
They are very
on a
similar
one-off
to
game
New
could
Zealand.
win.
I think when we were discussing it in the podcast, also we discussed it. They're
Right,
very
right.
similar to New Zealand. Top order doesn't do anything, but the bowling unit is so strong.
Trans-Tasman rivals after all.
But the bowling unit is so small that so strong that they can win games based on that. Zampa,
And actually, if they
Starr,
play
Cummins, Hazelwood.
and if they actually play Kane Richardson instead of Patrick Cummins, they'd actually be a even stronger bowling lineup for the
But
T20
Cummins can
at least.
bat. Probably that's why. Anyway,
Is that
chalo,
very
let's
Cummins?
let's that's almost about time for what we have for this episode. We will close with the predictions, of course. We'll have 3 predictions today, actually 4. Semi-finalists, most runs, most wickets, and then winner. So let's start with Pranav.
Okay, so semi-finalists, it will be Pakistan versus Australia and England versus New Zealand. Looking how things are going. Most runs, I'll go for Joss Butler. And what was the most wickets you said, right? Or is it most wickets? Who's the leader right now? I'm
I
not
think
even aware.
Zampa and Hasaranga are tied.
I
I
think-
think we should just predict the top wicket taker
I
from
think
here on
Shaheen-
onwards, otherwise
I think
it's too
Shaheen
easy.
Shah Afridi will be the highest wicket taker, and yeah, I think
We should predict
Pakistan
it
will-
from here on onwards, like last semi-finals, may, because now it's too easy right now. No,
yeah, Pakistan will win the World Cup. I've said it there.
Big claim.
So this
I think.
so this is Pranav's
I
last
think-
episode after that statement in Reverse Sweep podcast. So you can all bid him farewell for that comment itself. So yeah, please bid Pranav farewell from the
Oh,
Reverse Sweep podcast.
It was nice
I-
knowing you guys.
I think England and South Africa, I don't know. I think there is something about West Indies' last game, and I feel there is something about South Africa this time. I mean, their captain is weird. Every time I see Temba Bavuma speak or do anything, it's just so weird because that guy doesn't smile, doesn't just a still face. But I think there is something about South Africa there. There is a cohesiveness. Even with the Quinton de Kock issue, they came in next day, batted really well, and won a really good game. So I think there is something about theirs. And then I think I'll always be hopeful, and I hope Afghanistan will beat New Zealand, because now it's down to that. We have done what we needed to do with our net run rate. It's just if Afghanistan beat New Zealand, we are in. I'm assuming that we'll obviously beat Namibia in the final game.
Rashid Khan
So I think-
masterclass. That's our only hope.
So Pakistan and India from here, England and Australia from there. And if India make to the semi-final, I think we will win the World Cup. But my prediction is still England. But if we make the semi-final, we'll go all the way. That's my prediction.
very big.
If we make the semis, we will give Virat Kohli a great farewell in that game itself. So
That WhatsApp message came, no, that Javardhane and Sangarkara had their last World Cup, so they let them win the World Cup.
But
Then
their
उस
last
logic से तो गेल को
Sangarkara
जिताना
played in
चाहिए था इस बार.
2015, they got lost.
no,
Even
2014,
Jayawardene
T20,
played that World
T20,
Cup.
T20 was their last World
T20.
Cup. In
They had
T20.
that World Cup जीते थे ना.
In T20,
Otherwise,
हाँ.
that's a big.
हाँ.
So we, but
Kohli will
let-
play next year. यार ऐसा कहीं जा मत अपना.
no, but I think looking at how the thing now, it will be Australia, England, New Zealand, and sad to say, but yeah, whatever the fourth nation is. But
But why are you guys underestimating Afghanistan so much? They've
No,
got a
so-
great bowling, man.
no, Afghanistan has great bowling, but the thing
New
is,
Zealand also has a great bowling.
but
If
the
they
thing
bowl
is,
first,
I
and
don't.
if they get New Zealand
I mean, there is a
out
chance,
for,
but I think
110, 120.
There's a chance, but
Why
I
not?
because that Virat Kohli luck will favor New Zealand as well. So
But I actually read a great point, a tweet that India winning this too quickly might have hurt their chances, because now Afghanistan, for themselves to qualify, need to win by a big margin. So while playing that way to like winning by 30, 40 runs as opposed to just winning, they might have a bigger chance of losing, because like India making their net run rate too high already might have
then
like,
India will be out even a day
Oh.
before they play. So might
Yeah.
as well then
if India won
can force-
slowly, then Afghanistan would have played for their own qualification, where they might have just needed to win, and then India could have caught it up in against Namibia still. So maybe Virat Kohli, when he was knocking the ball around with 5 runs needed of 90 balls, he was doing something smart. Or what?
but I think
he
I
wanted
think
to make
winners-
sure he made a run on his birthday. That's all.
I
That's
think
your
England is winning the World Cup. There's no Australia is winning the World Cup. I'll stick to my original prediction. Australia
Siddharth,
winning.
your final prediction.
I will stick with my initial prediction. England to win the World Cup is what I said at the start.
No.
I
you
mean,
don't.
I said that I feel the 2 finalists would be from Group 1. I predicted West Indies. It's going to be Australia, so I think finalists will be them. Joss Butler, top scorer, was my initial prediction as well. My initial wicket taker prediction, Lockie Ferguson, sadly did not play a game. So I mean, I think it's going to be Hasaranga, obviously, but I think in the semi-finals, I think Chris Jordan will have a few good days.
Piyush, you didn't tell us your runs and wickets.
Runs
Even
is
I didn't.
obviously Butler, and wicket. I think I don't know the stats currently, but I feel Zampa has been pretty good, and he might just overtake everyone else.
Now for
Interesting.
Mr. Malay.
I would go. I mean, I would go Mohammad Rizwan for runs. He's 200 runs, 14 runs behind Butler, and same number of matches. And Rizwan plays in a way where he takes lesser risks than Butler. So I think Mohammad Rizwan was my first pick when we had done the preview as well, and you guys laughed at me and everything, and now you understand how good he is. Most wickets. Most wickets, I will go for Adam Zampa or Henrik Nokia, one of the two. I think Zampa is doing really well, but Nokia because he bowls in the death. So that's my most runs in this thing. And I will stick to my prediction, England, but I obviously hope that India make the semis. Really, really hopeful with Afghanistan.
Malay has already forwarded 100 pair circle already, praying for Afghanistan to win against New Zealand. Malay is very helpful.
Oh,
I am buying an Afghanistan jersey for Sunday.
Okay.
I really, really hope Rashid and Mujib and Nabi. We have helped them so much, gave them a ground in Dehradun.
If they want,
Please, they can do for us.
if they want IPL contract, they better win it.
Yeah.
Chalo, I think that's all the time that we have for you on this episode. Please do like, share, subscribe to the River Sweep podcast wherever you're seeing this, if on Instagram, on YouTube, or on Spotify.
And Malay is giving one lucky winner Happy Diwali gift also. So if you comment, Malay is a noob. Malay is a noob. One lucky winner who comments it will win a gift from Malay.
Chalo, let's hope when we meet next time, India are in the semis, and if India go to the semis, then we'll definitely win the World Cup. Come on, we won't.
And if Pakistan wins the World Cup, we'll all be off social media for the next 2 months.
Have you been watching for the last 7 years that you think if we reach the semifinals, we'll win the cup?
No, because we were never in this
anything
situation before.
It's
Under
like
Virat Kohli, we were...
If we reach the semifinals, we lose.
Because things are changing, no? Under Virat Kohli, we used to always dominate the group stage and then crash out in the semis. Now we have not dominated.
I mean, in Champions League, we lost to Sri Lanka in the group stage also. Not always.
That was a weird match. Nothing happened. They just randomly chased 300 out of nowhere.
Out 320.
And since then, they've lost every ODI against us, I think, except one. They lost 5-0 at home.
No, but they won against us.
And that's the one game they won in the whole Champions Trophy as well. They lost to Pakistan and South Africa.
I think they won against one game in Pune. I remember because I was at that game. Dushmanta Chamira had, we had made a green top for them, and they came and bowled first. And
was the 29 for 7 game before that or after that?
It
was after.
Oh, and that was in Dharamshala, I think, no? Or Pune.
And if it was, if I'm not mistaken, the great Thisara Pereira dropped Sarfaraz in the Pakistan game. Otherwise, India would have probably held the cup. So.
And Sri Lanka would have qualified then.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us, and do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. So bye bye.
Bye bye.